leisure hours he had training for triathlons or bicycling up Mount Tamalpais. At least he had until his son was born. Now he threw his energy into parenthood, which was a good thing. Jim seemed better cut out for it than Katenka, who struck me as bemused, even outright discomfited, by her wriggling, demanding bundle of joy. At the moment, little Quinn was enthusiastically gumming his father's thumb, a long trail of drool marring the front of Jim's shirt as though left by a giant snail. "He's cutting a tooth," Jim said with an indulgent chuckle. I returned his smile, enjoying the sight of a dad with his beloved boy. Jim was easy to work with one exception. He had been adamant about living in the basement apartment while we worked on the house. My own father, the original Turner of Turner Construction, had cautioned me against allowing clients to remain on site during renovations. Apart from the obvious problems with the dust, the noise, and the early-to-rise hours of the construction trade, there were aspects of the job that clients really didn't need to know about. Incessant raunchy jokes and blaring rock music were only the beginning. There were also the occasional but inevitable mini-disasters, broken windows or fried wiring, any number of oopsies that we would make good in time, but that I'd rather the clients didn't witness. Maybe because I was a woman, not a gruff former Marine like Dad, or simply because I lacked sufficient backbone, I had a hard time enforcing this policy. Katenka and Jim insisted on living downstairs, and they were paying the bills. In the high-end construction business, the one with the checkbook rules. As a principal in a successful internet startup, Jim had pockets deep enough to return this Queen Anne to its former glory. In fact, he possessed an almost messianic drive for historical restoration and spared little expense. These are highly attractive traits in a client. "He's very dusty. Dust everywhere," Katenka commented as she glanced around the dining room, delicate nostrils flaring. "Hard to avoid on a construction site, I'm afraid." "Oh, by the way, Mel," Jim said, "I've taken the liberty of calling in a green construction consultant." "Is that right?" I said, trying to keep a neutral expression on my face. I'm territorial about my construction sites. When a general contractor is on the job, they own the job. I might cave in to clients, but there was a reason my workers called me the general behind my back. Apparently, my attempt to cover up my feelings was not successful. No surprise there. Diplomacy has never been my strong suit. "I know you're pretty green already, but it makes me feel better to have an expert on the job," said Jim, his tone conciliatory. "I'm sure you two will get along great. As a matter of fact, he mentioned you know each other. His name's Graham Donovan?" "Yes, I do know Graham," I said, my emotions reeling. The sexy contractor and I had history, the kind of history I didn't want to dwell on while in the company of clients. "And check this out," Jim said, using his free hand to pick up a package from a plywood plank laid across two sawhorses. "I had this plaque made. I was thinking you could put it up when we're all done." The gleaming brass plaque read, "Cheshire House, circa 1890. Restoration by Daly Family and Turner Construction, 2011 to 2012. "That's beautiful, Jim," I said. Okay, Jim Daly had more going for him than just deep pockets. He loved this house. As one who is enamored of historic homes, I felt a certain kinship. Quinn's adorable coos escalated into a fretful whimper. His chubby legs danced and his tiny arms flapped. "Chow time. I'd better go feed the baby," Jim said. "Coming, honey?"
"You go. I come after. In a minute."
Katenka's mouth tightened, and one side pulled down in a barely there grimace. I'd noticed that expression before. It was usually directed at unpleasant tasks, or just about anything involving her son. Still, in her big hazel eyes, I read a mixture of eager concern and trepidation. I found it hard to warm to Katenka, but a part of my heart went out to her. The unceasing demands of an infant would be tough for anyone, especially someone living in a foreign country without her family. "Take your time," Jim said, kissing the top of her head. "Let's order Thai tonight. What do you think?" She shrugged. "Indian?" The baby's distress spiraled up, his whimpering ceding to crying.
"It's greasy."
"Pizza?" Quinn started to wail.
"We decide later,"
Katenka said. "Okay, sure. Let me know when you're getting hungry, honey. See you tomorrow, Mel." Jim headed down the servants' hall to the rear staircase that descended to the basement-level apartment.
"Crazy,"
Katenka said, rolling her eyes.
"He drives me crazy."
"The baby or Jim?"
"Both. Mel, I must ask you some advice."
I'm not much good at advice.